so the Celtics back into the NBA Finals, second time in the last 3 years, and they get the 4-0 sweep. Not necessarily clean, but a 4-0 sweep. And Derek White, who prior to that shot had taken 8 3-pointers in this game and had made one more than I had and you had combined, but he makes the decisive shot there at the end. So the Celtics will now face Dallas in the NBA Finals unless the Mavericks ride the vomit comet for 4 games. Otherwise, then it would be Minnesota. The Game 4 of the Western Finals will be played on Tuesday night. Mavericks up 3-0 in that best-of-7 series. Keep in mind, the NBA Finals do not get started till June 6th. And if you look at your calendar here, we're heading into the 28th day of May. So that's a pretty sizable gap. In the past, conspiracy theorists would say, well, that guarantees that Minnesota is going to win a game here because the NBA needs content. Their TV partners need content until the NBA Finals begin. So there's a lot of downtime for the Celtics. And if the Mavericks win tonight, they'll just have a little less downtime before that. But let's discuss the question. Did the Celtics get the sweep here of the Pacers? Did the Celtics sweep of the Pacers impress, and did it turn heads? So to answer the question, did the Celtics winning these 4 games and going on to the NBA Finals, did it turn heads? So I've got Aristotle, Fuzzy Dice, and Pebble. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make one of those souvenir hats and shirts, which I'm not sure why you would buy one because you got to wait for your team to win if you're going to buy some merchandise like that. Just getting into the finals, probably not worthy of a purchase. But if you win, then you purchase. If you lose, who wants a souvenir from the NBA Finals? But the NBA trying to sell the hell out of those hats and those shirts and all that. But to answer the question, did the Celtics sweep of the Pacers here, did it impress? Did it turn heads? So I am going to shake my head no on this, which in a way is turning my head to shake it no. So I'm going no on this, but I was not impressed. Oh, well, you're just a jerk. You're a hater. You're not impressed. No, let me explain. Coming into this series, I go by the gambling market. The sportsbook had the Boston basketball team as the biggest favorite in a conference final we have seen since the Chicago Bulls of Michael Jordan back in the day. This was a humongous mismatch. However, nothing was easy. Well, they won all the games. All right, yeah, I get it. Plus, there's this other thing that I have, and whether it's Aristotle or whoever, I don't know, Snoop Dogg, I don't care. You don't get extra credit for doing what you're supposed to do. The Celtics were supposed to sweep this series, and they did, but every game came down to crunch time. Boston was unable to easily exterminate the Hicks from Indiana in only one game, and that one game was when there were some other circumstances that popped up. Tyrese Halliburton got injured in Game 2. But if you bet the spread, again, Boston, biggest favorite since the Jordan Bulls in the conference final, but if you bet against the Celtics, then you won 3 of the 4 bets. The only one you didn't win was Game 2 when Rick Carlisle called off the dogs. Hurf, hurf, hurf. Called off the dogs. He did. So the Maller report card shows no style points. No style points. You did what you were supposed to be doing. All right, now page 2 here. Are Rick Carlisle, that's the coach, Rick Carlisle's Pacers a team on the rise, or was this a fluke run by the Indiana basketball team? So now that we know the outcome, of course we knew the outcome prior to the conference finals ending, there's very little to no chance that the Pacers were going to come back and win this series. So now that we know what has happened here and looking at the full wide-angle lens of the Indiana Pacers playoff run, are Rick Carlisle's Pacers a team on the rise, or are they merely a fluke? So the arrow is pointing at Flukey McFluke on the Indiana playoff run. Now, I do like the run-and-gun style the Pacers play with, the intoxicating, forensic pace that they run up and down the court with. It's wonderful. However, you look at the Pacers here. This is a team that had the fuzzy dice. They had the lucky fuzzy dice, and it worked out in their favor here. They did. Like Milwaukee, who they played in the first round, Indiana, Milwaukee had the curse of Doc Rivers. So they had that going against them, the curse of Doc Rivers. Then they had the damaged Giannis, the Greek freak. He got hurt. Actually, he didn't play. He got hurt before the series. And then you had Dame Time as well, went down for the count. Then you played the Knickerbockers, who were without not two, I think 3 starters. And then they lost some other players during the series. So the way you would describe that is swimming with the tide. You were swimming with the tide if you're the Pacers on this. And Tyrese Halliburton, well, he's a nice player, and assuming his body can hold up, it did not hold up in this playoff run as he was down for the count, did not come back. This Pacer run is the epitome of happenstance. Every dog has its day, and this was their opportunity. Indiana had a number of players that had the ball in their hands late in the game, an opportunity to make a name for themselves, and more importantly, make a lot of money. You hit some clutch shots in the playoffs, and you get paid. And they almost all missed. They were outscored 7-0 in the Pacers in this game to close it out in the final seconds. And so a bunch of those guys dropped the bag, an opportunity to make a bunch of money because Halliburton was out and some other players did not step up, not in the final couple of minutes. All right, last word here. Let's go back to the Celtics. So Jaylen Brown picked up the 2024 Eastern Conference Finals MVP following the old sweeperoo. And how is this going to go over with Jayson Tatum? That's the question. How is this going to go over with Jayson Tatum? So publicly, he's going to be diplomatic. The term would be diplomatic, but privately, you've got to think the people that are making their living grabbing on and riding the coattails of Jayson Tatum are really upset. Like, this is a pebble in the shoe. It's a small thing, but it's an annoying thing. It's a nuisance for Jayson Tatum. Now, he can still go out and win the Finals MVP, and then no one will remember who won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So he still has that opportunity ahead of him, but that's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee the Celtics even win. They should. But Jayson Tatum, you can't turn on an NBA game without seeing Jayson Tatum trying to sell you some crappy product. I mean, that's what he does, right? He's a pitch man with endless swag. On Madison Avenue. They advertising people. They love Tatum. And this is supposed to be his Celtic team. This is Jayson Tatum's Celtic team. And yet, Tatum got bailed out in the Eastern Conference Finals. In this game, I think he had 26 points on 26 shots, if I remember correctly, in this last game. 20. That's not good efficiency. I didn't play in the NBA, but that's not good efficiency. But Tatum needed to be bailed out. He was handed a parachute. The plane was not doing well, and a parachute went from Jaylen Brown to Jayson Tatum. Ta-da! Here you go. Enjoy your parachute. Now, Tatum, not even the top player on the team, even though he gets paid all that money for the endorsements to go around and say, I'm the greatest thing in the world. Well, no. That's on that level, it's embarrassing. Now, they won, and again, they win this championship. Many sins will be forgotten, and you can acid wash all of this away. But at this moment, yeah, it's not the greatest look in the world. It's not.